Right now, if it gets too hot, you're going flip the switch and turn on the AC and the problem is gone. But 99.9% of human history, that option didn't exist. No electricity, no cooling, no escape. It pushed the human body towards its absolute limit. Yet ancient humans lived in some of the hottest places on Earth. They didn't even have fans. So how did they actually survive? Let me show you something that changes everything about how you see yourself. Over 300,000 years, every single one of your ancestors spent roughly half their life in extreme heat. In the middle of the day, when the sun was at its strongest, they simply stopped moving. So what did they actually do for all those hours? The answer changes everything we know about survival, adaptation, and what it means to be human. Let's start with water, because water is the reason any of this was possible. The real danger isn't the sun, it's dehydration. Imagine this. 99% of human history, heat wasn't a weather report. It was a survival question. Think about it. In extreme heat, the sun didn't just shine, it pushed the human body towards its limit. At night, early humans used fire for protection. It created a 30-foot circle of safety against predators. But during the day, their real defense was weakened. Ancient humans are very different from other primates. Instead of fur, the human body evolved millions of sweat glands. We transformed our skin into a natural cooling system, a kind of biological radiator. But this system has a major weakness. It only works when the body has enough water. Without water, sweating stops. And when sweating stops, the body can no longer cool itself. That's why in extreme heat, the biggest fear isn't just the sun outside, it's the rising temperature inside the body. Heat stroke occurs in 3 to 4 hours. Organ failure follows. So when ancient humans faced this, when water sources were limited, they didn't just look for water. They learned how to use its physics. Long before modern technology, people discovered a natural method called evaporative cooling. Here's how it worked. They created simple clay pots with tiny pores. Water would slowly seep through these microscopic holes to the outside surface. When dry air passed over it, the water would evaporate. And in that process, it would carry heat away. This made the water inside the pot much cooler than the surrounding air, sometimes by 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. Archaeological evidence shows these Zeer Pots were found in Egypt, Sudan, and across North Africa, dating back 5,000 plus years. Modern thermal testing confirms the 15 to 20 degrees Celsius temperature drop perfectly. It was a simple idea, but incredibly powerful. You must have read books that ancient people built houses using mud and stone with thick walls. Here's what they actually understood. These walls blocked heat from entering during the day. Small windows also reduced sunlight, keeping the inside naturally cool. They didn't fight the heat, they blocked it. Modern thermal imaging confirms what archaeologists found. Stone walls up to 1 meter thick delay heat penetration by 6 to 8 hours. Underground chambers maintained 15 to 18 degrees Celsius, even when outside heat reached 50 degrees Celsius. How? Thick stone walls, thermal mass absorbs day heat, releases at night, small windows, minimal light entry, strategic shade placement, reduces direct sun exposure, ventilation holes, natural airflow creates cooling. Early peoples avoided traveling during 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., the hottest part of the day. Instead, they moved early in the morning or in the evening. They didn't walk in the heat, they outsmarted it. They stayed under trees, rocks, or any natural shade. Avoiding direct sunlight was one of the most important survival rules. Research by Polly Wiesner studying the Kalahari Bushmen found they shifted all major activity to dawn and dusk, resting 6 to 8 hours during peak heat. This single behavioral change reduced heat exposure by 50%. The surface of the sand is extremely hot, but just a few inches below, it's much cooler. They sometimes dug slightly into the ground to access the cooler layer. But they didn't just find water sources. They understood how to use water strategically. They stayed near rivers or water sources whenever possible. But the genius was in the timing and technique. Large gulps of water equals water passes through equals wasted small sips throughout the day equals better absorption. They discovered salt preservation kept bodies hydrated longer. They understood timing of water consumption. Morning, small sips with food, prepares body. Midday, minimal water, conserves supply. Evening, larger amounts with meals, replenishes for next day. Sometimes they kept their clothes slightly wet to help their body through evaporation. The wet fabric created a cooling layer. When air passed over it, evaporation pulled heat away from skin. This wasn't random. This was systematic knowledge. Your water extraction knowledge, still in your DNA. The question isn't, how did ancient humans survive extreme heat? The real question is, what happens when we remember how to survive? What if you stopped fighting your nature and started becoming your nature? Your ancestors proved for 300,000 years that humans are heat survivors, not victims of heat, masters of it. Bye.